This WAFLW live stream is brought to you by Optus, proud naming rights partner of the WAFL and the WAFLW. The rear-wheel drive V6 twin-turbo Kia Stinger. Simply Energy, proudly supporting WA footy. And the West Coast Eagles, supporting WA female footballers to follow their dreams.
Are you ready? Ready to go? Are you ready? Ready for more? Are you ready? Ready for me? Oh my, are you ready? Ready and now to keep going. And I can't stop. Are you ready? Ready for me? Oh my, oh my.
Welcome to round 5 of WAFLW action from a very cold, wet and windy East Fremantle Oval, New Choice Homes Park here for the Sharks and the Tigers. A critical match for both teams. East Fremantle, who started the season in tremendous form, defending their premiership and knocking off South Fremantle by 88 points in round 1. Well, they've been winless since then, losses to Subiaco, Peel and Swan Districts. Meanwhile, Claremont had a tight loss to Subiaco in round 1, back-to-back wins over Swans and South, but then suffered a defeat at the hands of Peel last week. So 2-2 for the Tigers, 1-3 for East Fremantle, and time's ticking away pretty quickly in a very short season for WAFLW this year, just 3 games remaining. So this match is absolutely vital for both teams, really needing to get back on the winners list. The Sharks, as I mentioned last week, disappointing on our match for broadcast against Swan Districts. The Tigers just couldn't quite get over the top of Peel, whose form has been pretty good throughout the season, and they're sitting in second on the table, Peel Thunder. But these two teams just on the edge of the top 4, so very important for both teams to perform at their best here today on what's going to be a very soggy surface. There's been a lot of rain around East Fremantle Oval already today, and more to come as well throughout the afternoon as this match is just about ready to go. You can see the Tigers there going through their warm-up. Dave Lindsay with you in commentary. We'll introduce the rest of our commentary team. There they are on their names on the screen for you now, but we'll hear from them after these messages here as the Sharks and the Tigers get ready for battle in round 5 of WAFLW.
All the great teams have many things in common. That ability to deliver when it counts. That certain style about the way they do things. That ongoing quest to be the best.
Goes back to back.
And at Kia, that team mantra is everything. We're proud to support the WAFL and proud to offer Australia's best 7-year warranty. Because with Kia, we've got your back.
Sorry.
Just wait.
It's funny.
Dad.
Yeah. Party purpose.
Shh. Bring your family together. Introducing Optus Family Plan with 4 SIMs and 250 gigs of data to share.
If you need it live streamed, you need Front Row Screens. Visit frontrowscreens.com.au.
Just about ready to go here. WAFLW round 5, East Fremantle and Claremont from New Choice Homes Park. You can see the windsock there. That's probably about as calm as the wind has been throughout the last hour or so here at East Fremantle Oval. And as it often is here, it's been blowing a gale right across the ground. I imagine that windsock will get plenty of work this afternoon. The ground is in reasonable condition given all of the rain, but I don't think it's going to be anywhere near perfect for the two sides out there today. As we mentioned, the Sharks and the Tigers both desperate for a win. East Fremantle on a 3-game losing streak, Claremont at 2-2. So both teams have so much to play for. There's the Sharks going through their warm-up. Dave Lindsay with you in commentary, and we've got two Fremantle Dockers with us this week, Hayley Miller and Cara Antonio. They've both had a chance to warm up over the last couple of weeks as solo expert commentators. They're working together today. Good evening, good afternoon, ladies. Great to have you with us.
Thanks, Dave. Good to be here.
Thank you.
So we did cost, I think, a house at the Antonio household off the boot of Hayley Miller a couple of weeks ago when Cara put the house on the line. So
Cara cost me a goal.
a goal,
I
that's
copped
right.
a nasty
What's
It's the
text.
jinx.
I did cop a nasty text from Miller after the game saying I jinxed her for the rest of the game. But no, look, I haven't lost my house, so yeah, sorry, Mills. I apologise for that one.
The two of you were talking off air about a meal afterwards, so I guess everything's been patched up, so everyone's okay. What are you expecting today? I mean, the Sharks were so good last year, winning the flag, and as expected, just absolutely dominated South Fremantle in round one. But we haven't seen anything like that since then. And Claremont have been very competitive in every game so far. Hayley.
Yeah, it's a bit of a do or die, I think, for East Fremantle here. These conditions, I said it last week that these conditions probably suit them, but they didn't really manage to use them to their advantage last week. So hopefully they've had a look during the week and seen where they went wrong last week and can come out firing today.
And Juddy, the Tigers have been competitive, as we said. They've been pretty close in each of their games, some tight wins, tight losses. They always seem to be a pretty competitive sort of club, but perhaps just lack that little bit of polish to knock off some of the big teams from time to time.
Yeah, definitely. And looking at the last couple of games, they've obviously got some really good wins, and the list and the team that they got out in the park today, a few AFLW players, which will strengthen up their list and may get them over the line.
Ready to go in the first quarter. Fairly gloomy scene here at East Fremantle Oval as Bowie does work in the ruck against Williams. A second attempt from Williams knocks it forward for Claremont, but East Fremantle should be able to get the first clearance of the game. Tinson gets boot to ball, lands it in some open space, half forward. Pugh off half back for Claremont. Does nicely to step back onto the right, but O'Sullivan, she never goes away. Gets the smother in there. In comes Versace, squeezes a kick forward. Riley over the football, just lost it out the back door. Through comes Bella Lewis. Pops a hand pass into space for Smith, who was tackled high.
I am going to like that matchup today, O'Sullivan v Pugh. They both like a little bit of banter on the field, being teammates down at Fremantle. So I'm looking forward to hearing what goes on during the week.
Here's Garstone, player on the Freo list. Thought about the hand pass. Uses the ball into the middle of the ground, which is dangerous if you don't hit the target, and that's exactly what happened. Off half back, Versace working well through the middle, straight down the pipe she goes, but first back is Bennett for Claremont. And she's got Goranova in some space on the outer side, but the kick's gone a bit too far for her, and that'll be a free kick for the ball going out.
Bit of a blood rule here. Tinson's come off. Not sure if it's a nose or mouth.
Yeah, not much support from the coach there as well. A big smile. Just a bit of a laugh. Might be the nose, looking at the way that she's put the towel up to the face. On a cop one in the middle when she got that first kick of the game. Bowie had the footy for a moment. Comes out to Bird. Hooks it forward. Oh, slipping over. Unfortunately, there was brilliant. That gives Claremont a chance to take it away. Hongle. Time to straighten up. Scrappy looking kick, but gets it to Robertson. And that one comes right off the inside of her boot. It'll go out of bounds on the bounce, I think. Did the Tigers get a touch? No, they didn't. Boundary umpire with the lasso move over the top of the head. Gives the free kick to East Fremantle. No one standing the mark. That was poor footy from Carter. She ran away from the contest. Allowed Ross to take the kick quickly. Here's O'Sullivan. Steps through the traffic well. Off to Versace. Gets it inside 50. Garstone makes the spoil on Walsh. Still a chance here for East Fremantle. Spruill. Oh, she's got a player at the top of the goal square. Manages to find her teammate. I think is it Spark down there? It is. Spark's taken the mark at the top of the goal square. East Fremantle should get the first goal of the game. Nice use of the outside of the boot from Spruill just to get it forward.
Perfect spot as well. We always talk about getting it, 5 metres to the top of the goal square to avoid that spoil over for a point. So a really good kick there.
So Stephanie Spark from the top of the goal square should make no mistake, but she's missed out to the right.
That one hurts you. That one can hurt you.
Expected that maybe the breeze might have done a bit of work to bring that one back, but not so. As Bennett kicks it back into play for Claremont. Hongle taking the mark. As Smith down the line kicks further than that and finds the second target in Bartlett. Awkward two-hand ball drop and straight into the player on the mark. So East Fremantle can reset again here. Spruill Too far out to score. Certainly with that kick, and we'll take 10 of those kicks to get anywhere near the goals. Boundary umpire goes to ground, very slippery on the line. Walsh beaten to the football by Garstone, who works it over for a boundary throw-in. Did Sarah Garstone end up getting a game last year? I know she was obviously in the squad.
She did play
Yeah,
one.
she did.
Yeah, she did.
Against the Bulldogs, our last home and away game over at Whitten Oval. Probably the best Gatorade show I've seen all
She
year.
loved the Gatorade shower.
Plenty of spark about her. She's got some work to do in defence again. This time deep in defence, M. Bennett is the defender for Claremont. Through comes O'Sullivan again, just trying to tow it forward. Spark for Fremantle, wrapped up in a couple of Tigers. Another ball up. See a lot of stoppages, I would have thought, today, as the sun just peeking through for the first time this afternoon.
Yeah, East Fremantle will be wanting to get some score on the board here, especially whilst it's a bit dry in the hands at the moment. You want to get the score on the board before potentially a downpour very soon. Some dark clouds coming through.
Ball up just outside the goal square now, close to the line. It'll go over. Smith takes it over for Claremont. The windsock pretty much just belting straight across the ground to the far side, so it doesn't appear to be an advantage to either end. But certainly while it is a little bit dry, there's some opportunities for some scores. Zadnik for Claremont wins it to the front. Coming through, Sargent. Survived a fitness test just before the bounce to take her place today. Can't get the ball out of that contest. Tossed in the air once more. I reckon we might be needing a third effort here from the umpire to split them. There's a lot of players around this footy. Hard to get it out. Claremont wouldn't be too upset just holding things up. Walsh taking possession. She's tackled by Pugh. And again, another reset. Umpire doesn't waste any time. Pops it in the air. Smith tries to clear for Claremont. Bounces it away. Came out to meet it, Goranova. She's well tackled. Ball comes out. The umpire says it was holding the ball. It's too late. And Phil Seth, applying that strong tackle, is rewarded. Wants to move it on quickly. Again, hits that hot spot at the top of the goal square. Walsh the target. Didn't quite get to her. Riley's lurking. Coming the opposite direction is Ortlip. She was wrapped up. And the rucks will be called on again. Walsh crashed into from behind by Zadnik. And again, a wrestle for the football. No easy ball to be won.
There's some tough footy out there.
Yeah, you really need to hit it. You need someone to come through like a Gabby O'Sullivan with momentum there and break open that pack.
Riley thrown to ground. Umpire lets them play on. She's a bit sore as well, Riley. East Fremantle do get a kick forward. It's wide and through for a behind.
Probably lucky to get away with that one, Laura Pugh.
Brought back in quickly by Hongle into the pocket. And it's Garstone with the football. This is where Claremont have struggled. The second kick out of defence. Intercepted again. Wong squeezes a little left-footed kick towards Sprilling. That was knocked away by Hongle. Socket forward by Sprilling. Umpire has noticed a blood rule in the middle of play.
Another one, too, in the first quarter.
I think it might be a nose as well. And they're still trying to deal with Katrina Tinson's nose at the moment. So now they got another one on the cards.
This is Chloe Riley, who was the player who was slammed into the turf by Pugh. So there was some damage done in that tackle. So two Sharks off under the blood rule at the moment. I haven't seen play stopped while it's been in flow for the blood rule before, which is a strange call. Umpire calls play back on. And they'll ball it up. Alston wins in the ruck. Hand pass from Bird. That was intercepted. Nice work from Carter. Stepping away through some traffic. Now she's got nowhere to go. Comes back to the same side of the ground and Dumanis has it. Bella Lewis gives a short lead. That's ignored. Wants to go more centrally. Good use of the football. Finds Petrevski. Strikes it well. Over the top. Carter's pushed on. Couldn't take the mark, but does follow up well with a good tackle. Standing up in that tackle slasher. Got the hand pass away. Seth brought to ground in a fierce tackle from Lewis. Doesn't mind the physical stuff, Bella Lewis. Umpire calls a quick whistle this time. We'll see a ball up, but at least for Claremont's sake, they've managed to move it from half back into the middle. Alston wins it. O'Sullivan coming up to meet the footy. Free kick picked out. East Fremantle thought they might break away to advantage, but it was going the other way. And the free kick will come back to Claremont. A chance for Valentini to set something up. Good kick, finds Lewis. First time the Tigers have managed to get it towards their half-forward line. Lewis wheels around, pops it up towards centre half-forward, clears the pack. Seth couldn't take the mark. Zadnik a little hand pass. White is there. She's tackled by Slisher. How will the umpire see this? We'll ball it up again. Tossed in the air by the umpire. Here comes Seth. I don't reckon we've had a clear breakaway from any stoppage. It's always been repeat stoppages. And the umpire been pretty quick with the whistle, which is probably good to see. Don't need to see a long wrestle. Petrevsky this time for Claremont. Towards full forward. Williams has it knocked away by Norris. Great follow-up as well. Brought to ground by Williams. Gets a hand pass away. White goes to ground. Gives Slicer a chance to come through. She was clean with the pick-up. And the kick works out nicely as well. It's been marked for the Sharks by Curry. Wanting to go down the middle of the ground. Pugh with a good spoil on O'Sullivan. She gets the ball back and then pops a hand pass to Lowe. Nice half volley pick up. The kick inside 50, not well directed, and Norris is able to read the play and takes the mark again.
I'm feeling like there's a little bit more space forward 50 to Claremont. They probably, in the last couple of entries, just needed to be a little bit more patient, whereas on the flip side down at East Freos, and it's been a little bit more congested. So some really good positive signs, I think, for Claremont. Just need to be a little bit more patient and wait for the one to come to them.
Cara Antonio and Hayley Miller, our experts here today. Here's Slisher for East Fremantle. Running away from White. Again, doesn't use the ball particularly well. Pugh tried to sock it almost out of mid-air. East Fremantle able to tow it forward by Curry, but Hongle read it well. Her kick going wide on that breeze and goes out of bounds on the full again. And it's pretty customary for this ground, Hayley, isn't it? The breeze just fairly hammers across the ground. We see a lot of play on the outer side and a lot of out of bounds on the full.
Yeah, I definitely think we're going to see a lot of that today. It's just going to hold up in the wind, and as we're seeing a little bit of ping pong at the moment, it's going from one to the other. It'd be good to see some switch out this side of the ground if they can.
Pugh with the target. White couldn't take the mark. Lowe's run down from behind, but White actually was interfered with in the marking contest, so it'll come back to Brooke White. Claremont's best opportunity here to set up a score in the opening 10.5 minutes of the game. But again, the kick inside 50 lets them down, and Ross takes the mark unopposed. Ross's kick on the way out hangs up in the air. There's plenty of Claremont jumpers around this contest. Goranova couldn't take it away. Wong comes in over the football. Wrestling her is young Franklin. And the umpire again with a pretty quick whistle will want to ball this one up.
Each team will be looking to sort out their stoppages at the moment, because I think that's where you're going to win a lot of the footy, and you're just seeing Claremont do it there. Unfortunately out of bounds on the full, but you want to be winning those clearances, not having repeat stoppages. Whoever can sort of figure out their structure in the midfield first is probably going to break this game open a little bit.
So the ball out of bounds on the full. Norris to bring it in. This is ambitious play. She comes right across the face of goal. High kick towards the boundary line. They'll keep it in. Williams receives from Seth. And her kick is effective, finding Bird. So East Fremantle prepared to take the risk, bring it to the attacking side of the ground. But the turnover really opens the game up here for Claremont. Demanis pokes it into centre half forward. Goranova now. The next kick's the important one. Brooke White gives a lead. Out wide to the dead pocket. The breeze means that ball carries a long way in the air. Ross with a little soccer kick, gets it towards the boundary, follows it up and paddles it over. Umpire says that's okay. And we'll see a boundary throw in. It was an interesting move there from Norris, wasn't it, to come right across the face of goal, deep in defence, and it nearly cost them a shot.
Nearly paid off. If they kind of got that one out, they probably would have been on. But I don't know about that forward 50 entry just there, Mills. I was hoping a more to the top of the goal square probably would have given Claremont a better opportunity to hit the scoreboard.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you've got to come to this close side of the boundary here if you want to really take those scoring shots and actually have an opportunity to hit the scoreboard. I think, like you said, it's that dead pocket down there. The wind's not going to go in your favour if you're trying to take shots from there.
So is that the forward's responsibility who's making the lead not to lead to that pocket, or is it the kicker who needs to make sure that they ignore any lead in that direction?
Bit of both,
I think if you've got a lead out there, at least it creates a space where you probably want to kick to. So, yeah, it's a 50-50, I think. It's the responsibility at the end of the day of the kicker and where they want to put the ball.
Nice work from Pugh. Attack the ball in the air. Wants to play on quickly. But again, turning it over. Slisher with the mark. Been a bit of a wall across half-back for East Fremantle. Long high kick down the line. Crashing her way through was Sarah Rio. Now at ground level, Valentini. Couldn't get a hand pass away. Garstone doesn't mind sinking the slipper into the ball. Kick towards half forward. Ross did well. Stood up under some pressure. Support coming from Kakamo, but she's turned it over. Demanis, nice use of the left boot to Lewis. Wants to move it on. Takes on one. She's going to be caught by the second. Ross was all over her. It was bold play from Lewis, but she wasn't aware that the second player was coming. She might have hurt herself in the tackle here, Maddie Ross. Teammate is calling for the trainer. They've already had 2 players come off under the blood rule, and now Ross has hurt herself.
I think she's hit her head on the way down. Good tackle.
It was a very tough tackle, and unfortunately, yeah, probably didn't protect herself enough. And that momentum coming forward does happen sometimes. Hopefully, she's okay.
So being helped from the ground, Maddie Ross. I think she was licking her lips when Bella Lewis took on the first play because she knew that would have slowed her down and allowed Ross to catch her.
I don't mind that play from Claremont, though, because in order to catch, I suppose, East Freo's backline off guard, they need quick entries. So I didn't mind that. If I was the coach, I'd be telling Bella Lewis to keep going like that, keep breaking the lines, and let's try and get it in as quick as possible.
And Maddie Ross has made her way almost to the boundary. Norris kicks in her direction right now. Won't get to her. Standing up in front, almost able to take the mark there was Sargent. Gomes, little fumble. Pugh's been outstanding. Great use of the body. Wins the football, needs support. Gets it away to Sargent. Good build up here from Claremont, but Norris has read this well, just peeling off her player and taking the mark. But the start today from Laura Pugh, she's best on ground in the first 15 minutes.
It was a great use of her body there to push her player off and then collect the ball herself and do something constructive with it as well.
Chest low, had it for a moment. Bella Lewis crashes in once more. In comes Wong. She's tackled by Lowe. We'll see a ball up.
East Fremantle are sort of defending quite well. They are tight on their players. So like you said, Claremont need to try and break that a little bit. Otherwise, they're just going to get stuck hitting it down there, and then they're not going to get that score on the board.
Smart play from O'Sullivan to play into advantage, but the kick went a little bit too far for her teammate. And Ryu takes the mark. Short pass at the feet of Goranova, puts her under pressure. O'Sullivan applying that pressure. Garstone does well to support. Off to Pugh again. Tumbles a kick down the line. Robertson should get there first. She's going to be tackled, loses the ball, and she just dropped it according to the umpire. So Prentice will get the free kick. The goal is through 16 minutes. Tough day to score. Very windy. No rain so far in the game, but a lot of rain before the opening bounce. Williams for Claremont. Gains some ground, heads towards the boundary. That'll go out without anyone touching it. So the free kick will go the way of Bowie for East Fremantle. The kick from Bowie just for distance, but straight down the throat of Sargent, who had a very good piece of that, but the umpire didn't think it was good enough for a mark. Now O'Sullivan. Look away, hand pass to Slisher. So much space here for the Sharks. Kick over the top looking for Spark, but playing well in front is Bennett. And then she wants to move it on quickly. There's space out wide for the Tigers now. Bartlett has it and then kicks long down the wing towards Franklin. What was a promising build-up for East Fremantle now looks like a scoring opportunity for Claremont. The kick over the top allows Zadnik to run onto it. White's breaking towards the goal square. Kick is a bit average in flight, but it gets to White, and then she misses the opportunity.
Good build-up from that, that I suppose that mark, the intercept mark in the back line to be able to link up that player. I think it's the first kind of play we've seen all day, Mills. That open side, kick to space, almost capitalised Brooke White, but
I think Brooke had more time than what she thought then.
She did. She'd be kicking herself.
Absolutely.
Must be a scary situation down there for Emily Bennett in defence. One out, you've got all the space over the back, and she knows if it gets past her, it's a goal. But she handled herself well and then had the presence of mind to get the ball moving quickly to the open side for Claremont. Tigers through, Williams has it. Franklin for a moment. In comes Lewis. Fighting against Bowie. Bowie tries to slap it forward. Inglis Hodge with a hand pass out. Lewis, a great tackle there as well on Seth. She thinks it's holding the ball, but it's not. We'll see a ball up. Real competitor, Bella Lewis. Williams wins in the ruck towards White. Spills out now. The clearing kick from Versace goes straight down the throat of a Claremont player in Bartlett. Got less than 2 minutes to go in this first quarter. We haven't seen a goal as yet. The kick towards Franklin. Couldn't take the mark. Recovers well. High kick towards the goal face. Getting back Zadnik. It comes off hands. It'll go through for a behind and scores a level with about 90 seconds to go in the first quarter. Probably the first 10 minutes belonged to East Fremantle, and then the last 6 or 7, Claremont have got right back into it.
They've controlled the ball, and they've given themselves enough opportunity to score. Unfortunately, the two behinds probably should have at least got one major for their effort, I think.
Get the feeling that could be the difference in the game, is who takes their opportunities, because they're going to be hard to come by. Certainly clear scoring opportunities. It's going to be a matter of manufacturing something and then taking that chance when it comes. Probably not enough time on the clock here for the Sharks to generate anything. Claremont with it deep in attack. Robertson was knocked over. Seth clears well down the line, and O'Sullivan used the body well. Takes the mark. Now we'll use some of her experience to chew some time off the clock. Kicks down the boundary line. Gets past Williams, who then paddles it backwards, hoping for Pugh to charge through the back. She's done it again. Hand pass just missed her teammate Smith, but Smith follows up with a good tackle. Now Goranova applying a tackle as well. And that's probably enough to make sure that we'll go to quarter time with scores locked together at 2 behinds each. Williams wins it down. Hongle came flying through the pack. O'Sullivan with a clearing kick. Spark will come up to meet the football. Pugh's there again to wrap her up. She's been in absolutely everything for the Tigers in the first quarter. Outstanding start from her, and a really tough battle between these two teams. We mentioned off the top, they're both desperate for a win. Well, we're no closer to finding out who's going to win this one just yet. No goals in the first quarter, 2 behinds each. We'll come back on the other side of the break and have a chat about what we just saw in the first quarter. It's the Sharks 2 playing Claremont 2, WAFLW round 5.
The high ball.
Don't you diddle, don't you daddle, you better skedaddle. They need to run for your life. Well, like Virginia Creeper, well, didn't want to keep her just maybe for a while. You're the lady in a hurdle. Well, if you that day.
All the great teams have many things in common. That ability to deliver when it counts. That certain style about the way they do things. That ongoing quest to be the best. And at Kia, that team mantra is everything. We're proud to support the WAFL and proud to offer Australia's best 7-year warranty. Because with Kia, we've got your back.
If you need it live streamed, you need Front Row Screens. Visit frontrowscreens.com.au.
Tough battle in the first quarter between East Fremantle and Claremont. There's the midfield group of the Sharks. And they copped some injuries in the first term. 3 players coming off, 2 under the blood rule, 1 with possible concussion, although on the bench at the moment, Matty Ross, who was the player who came off possibly concussed, is actually trying to assist Chloe Riley to prepare to come back onto the field. And it's been a really tough battle in that first term. So we're getting some live shots here from the benches, from the Sharks huddle, I should say. And got Ash Atkins, I think it is there, just providing a bit of support. She's got the long sleeves on underneath the runner's gear, and she's also got the skins on. And just away to the next huddle to her left, you'll see Evie Gooch, who's got the sunglasses on her forehead, girls. It's about 12 degrees. There's barely been any sun at all. Here we go. We'll get a good shot here of Evie. There's no need for any skins or undergarments underneath her runner's gear, but the sun is just sitting on the forehead. What do you reckon, Hayley?
Yeah,
Is that a
I
look
think
you
it's
go
a bit
for
of-
today?
Yeah, I think she's doing that for a bit of the statement of the look rather than any actual UV protection for the eyes.
She'll be copping a bit throughout the week from us, that's for sure.
Hayley Miller and Cara Antonio, our experts here today with Dave Lindsay in the commentary box. 2 behinds each in the first quarter, girls. It's a very tough day for scoring. The breeze is very strong, going straight across the ground, which makes it tough to score at either end. Both teams probably had one genuine shot. We saw Steph Spark miss from the top of the goal square early for East Fremantle, and Brooke White just rushing a snap-on goal as well. It's so critical to take those opportunities today because I don't think we're going to get too many easy ones.
No, you're definitely not. In these conditions, you have no idea when. There's a little bit of blue sky out there at the moment, but you don't know when it could change. And being a goal ahead can be all the difference in a game like this.
Yeah, they definitely, as we kind of mentioned throughout the first term, I think East, the first half of that quarter, really had some momentum, controlled the play, but to Claremont's credit, they swung that momentum in the last kind of half of that first quarter, and I love the build-up of a few of those passages of play, especially the one that went to that far side, that fat side out there, and the build-up with almost Brooke White, capitalising with that goal. So from a Claremont's point of view, I think that momentum they need to build into this second quarter and really use that open side to break open the game.
See some of the highlights of the first quarter, and I reckon we're going to see a lot of Laura Pugh in this highlights package because she was clearly the best player on the ground, defensively putting the clamps on Gabby O'Sullivan, but also setting up a lot of play coming off that halfback sort of rebounding pad.
Yeah, that's what we like to see as teammates of Pewey's. She does that really well at AFL level too, and you'd expect that she would roll that into WAFLW, so we're hoping to see if she can do that the whole game. She'll be BOG by a mile.
Is she chatty? Would she be getting into Gabby as well?
Oh, absolutely. They're both probably the two that love the banter the most down at training, and no doubt that would definitely be happening out there. I think they obviously shook hands at the start of the game, and Pewey's been able to run off Gabs a number of times and back herself in and win that clean ball. She's been really clean below her knees, and Gabby O'Sullivan's been working up the ground, almost running away from Pewey to get a kick. But I mean, look, it's going to be a great battle for the next 3 quarters, but Pewey's probably definitely got one up at the moment on Gabs.
Just looking at the East Fremantle bench, there were 4 that came to the bench. No Katrina Tinson, so she copped a knock to the nose in probably the opening minute of the game, and not sure we've seen her back out there. Maddie Ross has gone to the exercise bike as well. She came off the ground after applying a very strong tackle on Bella Lewis, but came off second best. I think her head hit the turf pretty hard. And Chloe Riley did go out there to the huddle with, I think you described it, Hayley, as the Voldemort tape around the nose.
Yeah, I've seen Chris Judd sport that a few times. Very flat nose.
So she had blood streaming from her nose after she copped a very strong tackle. I think it might have been Laura Pugh, actually, who threw her into the turf. So she is back on her feet. She might have returned to the bench, but we might see her, I reckon, in this second quarter at some stage. Meanwhile, East Fremantle have made their way forward to start. Fierce attack on the ball from Hongle, and then second attempt as well, she'll win it. Though her kick was charged down. The Tigers continue just to rush this one forward. It's worked out pretty well. The spoil from behind, though, was effective there from Paisley Prentice. And it's out of bounds on that outer side. So we're still looking for the first goal of the game. There's Crystal Petrevsky. Had a couple of touches in the first quarter. Boundary umpire comes in 10 metres and tosses it back in. Williams from behind against Bowie. Down towards Versace. Releases Wong. Does well. Sneaks her way through some traffic. Kicks in the Walsh direction. Hongle again at the back was reading that ball well. Controlled it nicely. Now O'Sullivan, though. Kicks towards a one-on-one at the goal square. Spark opposed to Ryu. And Ryu just won that battle hands down. Read the flight of the ball better. Ambitious kick across the face of goal is good and finds Pugh. Has Lewis breaking on the lead. Very good kick in the end. Gave Lewis a chance, but Slisher at the last moment coming across and making a good spoil. And finds the safety of the boundary line. She's checking her nose for some blood as well. She might be coming to the bench, I'd say.
Oh, God.
Could be 3 in the first quarter in a minute. That's quite remarkable. She's come straight to the bench. And Kakamo comes on. So Bowie in the ruck wins it to the front. Wong tried to paddle it to a teammate. Valentini took on the tackler, and that's the way the umpire saw it as well. Free kick to Versace.
I think Webber can't quite believe it that she's had three nosebleeds already.
I think she was laughing at the first one, wasn't she? But it's not quite as funny anymore. Might be running out of troops on the bench. Here comes Petrevski, just overran the football. Versace wins it. Her hurried kick forward, though, intercepted by Sargent. Thought about pulling the trigger long, but then spotted up a player out wide in Bartlett instead. Bartlett's kick to an area that's filled with Sharks, and Prentice takes the mark. Just looking down to the bench, Maddie Ross has got the tracksuit on now as she's gone and sat on the bench. She might be out for the day. It's not the East Fremantle tracksuit, it's a multicoloured bright thing, but might be enough to indicate she might be finished, as East Fremantle could have half a chance here through Sprullin. Hook across the body. Spark can't get to it. Nice work again in defence from Ryu. She's had Spark covered on most occasions so far today. On the exit, finds Robertson, off to Hongle. Into the middle of the ground. Big ball to be won right here, and there's a push in the back. Just trying to use the body there. Petrevski overdid it perhaps. And Prentice with the free kick. Prentice wants to come across the ground, needs to hit Gomes with this target. Tigers get in there through Bartlett, and they managed to at least force a stoppage. That's a good win for Claremont.
They needed to look a little bit quicker coming out wide then. Gomes was there. She stood there for probably 30 seconds before the ball actually came to her and allowed Claremont to get there and contest.
Ball in the congestion again. Free kick's been picked out for a hold, and the advantage will be taken. Seth dashes away. Likes this situation, has a bounce. Tigers come charging at her, which allows the kick over the top. Curry, top of the 50. Clears Walsh with the kick. At the back is Spark. Can't take it cleanly. Walsh, though, spins out of a tackle. Her kick smothered. Pugh is there. Little flick hand pass. Got it to Hongle. Then she kicks towards the boundary. Tigers will get there first, though. They keep the ball in. Hand pass down the line from Bartlett to Valentini. Kicking on towards Lewis. Wins the one-on-one against Kakamo. Did very well. Hook kick across the body. Down the line. Prentice needed to be clean and was. Hand pass away to Norrish. Knocked over as she kicks towards half forward. Got a lot of distance on that kick. O'Sullivan trying to impose herself on the contest. Can't win the football though. Sargent out the front has it. Little hand pass inside. It was touched in flight. Smith's kick goes sideways and it works well. Goranova now has a player over the top. That's ignored. She goes longer towards White. Attacking it though, Williams. Now Goranova slipping over. Ball in the middle of the ground again. Williams for Claremont now, tackled by Bowie. And the umpire very quickly calls an end to that one and will ball it up.
A bit of a battle of the backlines at the moment.
Is.
The poor it's not a forwards day at the moment, and both backlines are standing up. Obviously, East Freya's across half back, but even Claremont's all the way down to the last defender have been really good so far.
We don't have the stats, but I reckon if we did, both of the half back lines for the two sides would be leading the way. I think Pugh and Seth have had a lot of the footy for each team. So the ground's now bathed in sunshine. Looks like a beautiful day. I can tell you it's probably about 10 degrees colder than it looks on that TV screen at the moment. And the rain feels as though it's never too far away down here. O'Sullivan gets herself to her feet, hands the ball back to the umpire. We'll do it all over again. Marley Williams in the ruck for Claremont. Has possession, brought to ground.
You can feel that the pressure gauge has probably gone up a notch in this second term. Both teams cracking a little bit harder and getting some run as well.
Repeat stoppages has been the pattern of play for the day. Might need another one here. A little hand pass went astray for Claremont. Ball in a good position here for the Sharks. Can someone generate anything? No, they can't, because Laura Pugh's there again. Just about unbeatable at the moment down there, Pugh. And again kicks to the advantage of Lewis. Always attacks the footy well. Always wants to take the game on, and for the second time today, she's probably bitten off a bit too much. East Fremantle with a free kick. Inglis Hodge, good use, finds Bowie.
Again, you just love to see that by Bella Lewis, but probably just that decision-making on when to go and when to pass it off, a bit of awareness.
Bowie's kick goes right to the goal square and beyond that position. East Fremantle try to keep it alive. Garstone work it through, and that rush behind puts East Fremantle back in front.
Not sure what Gabby O'Sullivan was trying to do there. Air soccer it out of mid-air, but probably just needs to grab it first, Gabs.
The Tigers back into play. Ortlip and Hongle combining. Valentini's further down the line. That's ignored. Goes longer. It's a good kick. Sargent will take the mark on her chest. Tildy Sargent This is an important ball.
Nice
It's a good kick.
Really good kick.
Robertson takes it on the 45 degree. Doesn't want to go inside though. Goes outside and turns it over to Bird. Lily Bird with the footy. Kicks to an area where there's more Tigers than Sharks, but the ball does spill to ground. Little hand pass comes out from Sargent. Away to Bennett. And the kick from Valentini towards Bartlett. Another Shark down and hurt. Lewis with the footy. Doesn't take them on this time. Quick kick. Earns some ground. Petrevski leading the race. Fumbles and accidentally soccers it to the boundary, which will result in a free kick to East Fremantle.
I spoke about this a few weeks ago, Miller. That is the one rule that gets me every time. A little fumble, didn't obviously deliberately kick it over, but unfortunately then gets a free kick awarded against.
Yeah, it is a tough one, and yeah, just a mistake there, and hopefully she can pick herself back up and get the ball again. And she was going to be off and running, so hopefully she can get another opportunity to do so.
Good to see Chloe Riley back out there. She's got the number 34 on now after possibly breaking a nose in the first quarter. She's got the tape right around the schnoz. It's going to make things pretty tough for breathing, at least in the last 3 quarters of this game, but she's prepared to give it a crack. Demanis for Claremont. Good kick over the top. Carter opposed to Williams. Williams brings it to ground without the football. That'll be a free kick to Mika Carter. Carter directing traffic with a hand. She kicks very wide. Claremont going backwards now towards Carter again. Hand pass back to Petrevski. And then a little stab pass looking for Lewis. She was worked under the ball well by her Sharks opponent. And at the back, East Fremantle combined. The hand pass comes to Kakamo, and her kick further down the line is well marked by O'Sullivan. A lot of clean footy so far from Gabby O'Sullivan, but working away into the contest. That was a good pass. Seth ran a bit further than she needed to there. Kick was touched. Bowie with the left boot. Kicks to a one-on-one, but again, too good in the air. Ryu, she's read the flight of the ball in defence and won a few one-on-ones in defence in this quarter already. And Claremont want to switch to this attacking side of the ground again. Bartlett has a little bit of space on Bird, but now the fumble costs her. Bird comes in to apply the pressure. Bartlett has a second crack. Support arrives for the Sharks through Wong, and they'll hold it up. That little fumble so critical when you've got a couple of metres break on your opponent.
It's a bit of the story of the day at the moment. I think you've seen each side when they're clean and they get clean ball is when they're most dangerous. And Claremont would have been out then, but unfortunately, little fumble results in a stoppage.
Good mark from Williams, and then her kick inside to Seth. And set something up here for East Fremantle. Kicking long, looking for Walsh, just over her head. Ortlip, the fumble puts her under pressure again. Ball comes out. She gives it away to Hongle, wants to take them on. Kicks across the face of goal, but there is a player in the back pocket in plenty of space. And Jacinta Valentini, who takes the mark and then kicks to a one-on-one. Bowie hands to the footy, couldn't mark. Wants to use her strength to get rid of her opponent. Zadnik, though, in the way. Dragged to ground with the footy. Claremont through low, win it into the middle of the ground. Franklin did very nicely, paddled to her own advantage, and she's a real racehorse. Away with a bounce as well. She could just about go the whole way here, although the second bounce goes over her shoulder. She gets it back for a second time. She's caught, and the umpire will ball it up. And that has been the pattern of play today. Every time you see one of the teams breaking away, there's a little handling error, and we're back where we started.
It's always that second bounce that'll get you.
I got excited then. I thought they were out then.
She's a real athlete, Amy Franklin. Very raw talent. Here's Robertson, veteran of the Tigers. Kicking inboard. Bit of holding. Claremont free kick. Advantage paid. Zadnik tried to put the move on and slipped over. And again, a promising build-up has been stopped in its tracks. And the ball back in dispute in the middle of the ground. Sprilling with a hand pass. Got it out into space. Bennett holds it up for Claremont. Little wrestle at ground level. Hongle. Sockers into a tough position to win the footy. Alston's wrapped up and another ball up just slightly forward of centre for the Tigers. Still waiting on the game's first goal. We're into the second half of the second quarter. It's more of a soccer score at the moment. 3-2 to East Fremantle. A throw picked out, and the Sharks will get a free kick.
Yeah, both teams are working so hard, and they've got some good passages of play, but no one's been able to really get it deep in their forward line enough to put some score on the board in terms of goals.
Phil Seth with the football. Out towards O'Sullivan. Normally when these two combine, good things happen for the Sharks. So we'll see what comes of this one. The kick towards the pocket, and again, Claremont in better position. Ortlip gives it off to Garstone. Didn't really nail that kick on the way out, which gives O'Sullivan a chance. Collects the footy, hand pass inside. Gomes is there, about to be met. She's too quick though. Gets around her opponent, straightens up, and then kicks straight to Smith of Claremont. And yet again, no chance to shoot, although Smith then ran herself straight into trouble, turns it over with a kick to Bird. And if she can get it moving, there's one-on-ones forward.
Needs to go deep here.
Sort of hangs it out at about 30 metres out from goal, and again, Claremont in best position, and Ortlip takes the mark, and it would be a frustrating day, I reckon, Juddy, if you're a coach.
Definitely. You just wanted that one to go, top of the goal square. I know there was a pack, but at least East needed to bring it to ground for the Crummers to run through. An easy mark to Claremont there is a coach killer.
So the Tigers now attacking down the outer side of the ground. Juggled attempt is paid to Zadnik. Again, just a little bit of space. One-on-ones forward of the play. So White has it. Hooks across the body. Claremont might have a 2-on-1 here as that one hangs in the air for a little while, but the Sharks were good enough to get it to the boundary, and it's out for a throw-in. 7 minutes to go in the second quarter. Hayley, you played last night. Another win for the Lions. A good night again.
Yeah, it was a tough game though. Peel really took it to us, and it was tough conditions. Probably not as bad as what we potentially thought the weather was going to be like, but there was a really, really strong breeze. But they've got a lot of young players for Peel at the moment, and yeah, I was really, really impressed with the game that they put up against us. Obviously, our girls, we did really well too, but I was really impressed.
So 2 games clear at the top of the ladder. It's couldn't lose from here, could you?
Well, it's a nice place to be sitting, but we've done this many times before, and then things have fallen apart at the end. So we just got to keep pushing.
Yeah, we certainly don't want to jinx anyone. You know the power of the commentary box.
Yeah, I definitely won't be saying anything.
Please don't.
It's Fremantle through the middle of the ground. Could this be the scoring opportunity? No, Pugh again. If anything, the kicks just appear to be going a little bit further to the left of screen, the way Fremantle are attacking. So maybe just the slightest of advantage there, but for the most part, the ball is stuck on that outer wing, and again, it's gone out off the boot, although Smith there claiming it was touched, but the umpire having none of it. So Seth with the free kick comes inside to Gomes. Got just over 5 minutes to go in the second quarter. We still haven't seen a goal. Gomes kicks straight into Smith on the mark. Ball comes back to Seth. She gives it back to Gomes, and then Seth involved once more. Little chip pass is effective to Riley. And Riley wants to come to the corridor. It's a good long kick. Gets it in deep. Pressure on the Claremont defenders, but guess who's there once more? It's been an unbelievably good performance from Laura Pugh.
Gabby O'Sullivan even just told the umpire that Laura had marked that then. Not like Gabs.
We often talk about how hard it must be for umpires to give the votes in games. Well, if they give the 3 votes to anyone other than Laura Pugh right at the moment, then I'm not sure what game they're watching.
That was a great tackle there by Ruby Schleicher.
Gets the free kick for holding the ball. She kicks for distance. A long ball. Clears O'Sullivan. Gets through the hands there of Franklin, who hand passes to a teammate immediately under pressure. The tackle from Wong was strong on Ortlip. Another ball up. I've liked the quick whistle from the umpire when they can tell it's definitely not coming out of the packs today. No need to let it sort of scrap around there when it's not coming out. In comes Jess Lowe. She has the footy. She's tackled. And we'll see that whistle again.
East Fremantle setting up a couple behind the stoppage here. So they just need clean hands to get it out and a deep forward 50 entry. But falls into the lap of Tildy Sargent.
A clearing kick. Slicer traps it with the feet. Might have been tackled high. She shrugged that one. Hand pass to Williams. Wants to step through the traffic. Gets it to Inglis, or to Sprillian rather. Long kick to full forward and Spark this time. Playing in front. The ball dropped a bit short. And she has taken the mark. She's probably had the best scoring opportunity of the game so far when she had a kick for goal from the goal square at the other end and missed. This one's a lot further out, but still no real angle to deal with.
Was able to gain a couple of metres separation there, which allowed her to obviously control that fall of the ball and read it better than her direct opponent.
It's been a fascinating battle between her and Sarah Ryu. But if Spark kicks the goal here, which it looks as though she has,
we've got one.
She's put the Sharks in front. She was pretty happy and not surprising when we haven't seen a goal for a quarter and 16 and a half minutes.
Yeah, I think everyone was waiting for that. Both teams just someone kick a goal and get the ball rolling. And I guess, yeah, Claremont probably had some opportunities and did some good link-up play during this quarter, but haven't been able to get it deep. And that really hurts them when Sharks managed to get it down there and put the score on the board.
Especially in red time, we would have probably copped something at half-time if that was us out there.
Well, it's been hard work for the forwards. There's been limited opportunities, and the opportunities that have been there haven't been as easy as they might have liked, but that was a set shot from a good distance out, and she struck it beautifully. So can Claremont respond now? Neither ruck attacked the football there. Slicer in the ruck wasn't interested, and Williams totally misjudged her attempt. They'll get a second crack. So just 2.5 minutes of time remaining in the second quarter. Marley Williams was dragged out of the way in that ruck contest, and the umpire out of the zone noticed that. Free kick going her way. Just taking a time over a kick and then kicks to a one-on-one. White playing in front of Williams. Takes the mark. And again, lots of one-on-ones forward of the play here. So she kicks long. Norris advantage by the kick. And again, going to that dead side. Makes it tough for the forwards. So now Norris. Hear the voice of Evie Gooch on the boundary directing traffic as the runner. Eventually told by the coach, you better get out there and give her the message face to face instead of just bellowing from the boundary. East Fremantle kick long down the line. The fist of WAFLW finding the safety of the boundary. And the Sharks would be happy enough considering they're holding the lead. There's Rachel WAFLW, ex-Lion, made her way across. Left her twin back at Subiaco. As the kick goes forward off the boot of Versace. Bartlett comes through nicely. Hand pass to Sargent. Kick has a bit too much on it there for Jess Lowe. White playing behind though, wins the footy. Off to Sargent, breaks through a tackle and then kicks as far as she can down the line. It's socked further forward by Robertson. Chance for Zadnik, couldn't take it. Close to the boundary. Claremont want to keep this one alive as we tick down towards half-time. There's time enough for them to score, but Norris gets that clearing kick. Claremont with the numbers here at the fall of the ball. Sargent spun in the tackle. Umpire says she didn't dispose of it correctly. And now O'Sullivan wants to take it on for the Sharks. A long kick down the line. Too far for Walsh again. Pugh leading the race back to the football. Clean with the hands. Sold a bit of candy there as she wanted to take them on, but the hand pass was untidy. Now Emily Bennett has the footy. She stands up in the tackle, and we'll see a ball up. Half forward for East Fremantle, 20 seconds to go. Second goal here would be a real blow for the Tigers, but a free kick's been picked out in the ruck again, and it's going to go the way of Marley Williams.
What I've liked this quarter, especially from Gabby O'Sullivan, is her best work is done up the ground, and the way that she can influence, and you saw just before that link-up play that she's worked all the way up to the wing to be able to then penetrate the kick, closer to goal is what's Gabby's strength, not that one-on-one contest. It's that work rate, which I've been really impressed with thus far.
Comments from Cara Antonio, sitting alongside Hayley Miller as our experts here on our WAFLW stream. It's half-time. There's Lily Bird, her team leading by 7 points. We've only seen one goal in the first half. Steph Spark kicking that goal late in the second quarter. And East Fremantle lead at 1-3-9 to 2 behinds at half-time. East Fremantle sitting just outside the 4, just clinging on to their premiership defence at the moment. Desperate for a win today. They've got big matches against Subiaco and Swan District still to come this season. So today is a must-win for East Fremantle. Meanwhile, Claremont, who have had a 2-2 start to the season. And they've got a 2-1 record against East Fremantle in the short history of WAFLW. They have some work to do to get their noses in front here today. They're goalless, but they're certainly not out of it. What's been a pretty tough scrap in very tricky conditions. Fortunately, the rain hasn't really arrived for us during the first half. Let's hope it stays as dry as possible in the second half as the Sharks led off down there by Alex Williams. Great to see her putting a couple of games together, ladies, because she's had a real battle with injury over a number of years now.
Yeah, it was good watching her play last week. I think she did play the week before as well, but I think she's starting to build in a little bit of confidence, and you can see her get in and under and start to, I guess, get into some contests and really test out her body. She's been out of footy for a long while, so it's a bit scary as you come back into it, but she's only going to get better as she cracks in.
Sharks by 7 at half-time.
If you need it live streamed, you need Front Row Screens. Visit frontrowscreens.com.au.
The V6 twin turbo rear wheel drive Kia Stinger. It took 7 years to create and 4.9 seconds to understand why.
Hey, darling. So I was thinking maybe we could all go out for dinner.
I wish, but I need to finish this prezzo.
Oh, that's cool. I'll just take the kids. Okay. All right. Bye. Thank you. But can I get
Champagne soup?
Yeah.
Bring your family together.
What?
New Optus Family Plan includes 4 SIMs and the McAfee Safe family app.
The Sharks leading by 7 points at the long break. Dave Lindsay alongside Cara Antonio and Hayley Miller as the sun is bathing East Fremantle Oval. It's been a very wet, wild and windy weekend in Perth, but at this stage we've probably got the best of the weekend's weather as we look at some of the highlights from the first half of footy. And the Sharks probably dominated the first 10 minutes of the game. Claremont then got it back on their terms towards the end of the first quarter, but neither team could find the major opening, and then it was more of the same in the second quarter. Really tough battle. Eventually Stephanie Spark broke the deadlock with a goal late in the second quarter, and they lead it by 7 points. As Hayley and Juddy, we look at some of these highlights. There's Maddie Ross, who I think we might find might be out of the game after a tackle she applied on Bella Lewis and ended up probably concussing herself. There's been a number of injuries for East Fremantle. A couple, I reckon, are probably out of the game. We haven't seen Katrina Tinson since her nose might have been broken in the first couple of minutes of the game as well. So the Sharks might be running out of troops, but it's been a really tough battle from both sides.
Yeah, it'll go to show their depth of their list. As you know, it happens in football. Players go down, and I guess your fitness as well when you've got players down on the bench. Not so many rotations, so it'll be good to see how Webbo sort of coaches that and manage to keep her players relatively healthy and sort of fresh for this second half.
Yeah, what I've really been impressed with is, as I mentioned, I think throughout the second is the both backlines and how they've been able to stand up. And I mean, East Freo, a really good forward entry just late to Spark and was able to really read that ball and go back and put that one through. But to Claremont's credit, their backline has stood up, and hopefully they get a little bit of reward for effort in this second half, because it's actually been a really decent game in terms of skills and the passages of play and the contest work, and the intensity and endeavour at the ball has been really, really good. So I'm looking forward I'm waiting for the game to break open, and hopefully it happens in this second half.
See some of the build-up here from East Fremantle. Probably 2 players that have stood out have been across that wing half-back sort of position. Phil Seth for East Fremantle has provided a lot of run and dash for the East Fremantle side, and Laura Pugh on cue right there taking that mark. She's been clearly the best player on the ground, Hayley.
Yeah, I think, like we said, we've said all game, she's just been able to sort of chop off those entries that East Fremantle have had, and they haven't really had a chance to take a mark in their forward 50. Just both. What was the other backliner for?
Seth. Phil Seth.
Off of Claremont.
For Claremont.
Ryu, Sarah
Yeah,
Ryu.
so she's also done it at that end as well, has been able to sort of chop it off. So her and Pugh have worked really well in that role to chop it off and then deliver it into there and get that run going, I guess. I was saying off air that a lot of it's been played in between the 50-metre arcs, and both teams have had some really good link-up play, but just haven't been able to get it deep enough to get a score.
And I reckon the difference has been that cleanness below the knees. I mean, in these conditions, I know we haven't seen too much rain thus far, and hopefully it stays away. But obviously the dewy conditions underfoot, the ball skids a little bit, and we've seen the likes of Pugh and Phil Seth and Gabby O'Sullivan, those AFLW players, stand up and be really clean. And I've just received a text message actually from Lisa Webb, who's our assistant coach down at the Dockers, and has taken all the credit for their ground balls as she drills that into us over the off-season and in-season. So, Webby, I'll pay that one to you.
Very good. Always good to have some input from our fans out there watching on the stream, particularly the AFLW coaches, of course. I know that's a lot of the AFLW coaches and WAFLW coaches love to watch in and see what's going on. And, yeah, a lot of the skills out here today have been very impressive. The Sharks lead it by 7 points. One of the great sibling stories to emerge from the WAFL and WAFLW is that of Jesse and Paris Laurie. Thanks to Optus, let's now take a look at a video highlighting the journey of this talented brother and sister from the small southwest town of Denmark.
It's been fantastic to see Paris's journey. She started with a lot of the local sports, played football at a younger age, but had to give it up because it just didn't exist anymore for her.
It's a bit sad to think that girls had to pick their second favourite sport, I guess, while their brothers or their friends got to continue on.
When the opportunity arose for her to play football at a higher level, she came on down to the Claremont Football Club, and it was just really fantastic to have another reason to hang around at the club, and I've just been so proud to watch her grow. Being a new player, welcomed into the team, to becoming captain within 12 months.
From about the age of 11, you could definitely see that there was something there. Paris has always been competitive with the boys.
For me personally, the fact that my brother and I are at that one club now is great for me in terms of getting to be at the same club as a really special family member, but also just the fact that we have their support and the women's competition is able to grow in terms of developing our girls so that they can continue on pathways just like the men's do.
Ocean Beach, it's probably one of the more iconic places in Denmark. Dad always got me down there for recovery, using the sand to be able to build up strength and endurance in the legs.
The Denmark communities had a massive influence on my sporting career. Living in Denmark, sport was everything. Every day of the week we were playing something else. The community backing of Denmark for everyone that's playing sport and all their sporting teams is just a really great family-like community to be a part of.
When we shifted here, we always said if the opportunity came up for them to do anything that was out of Perth, we'd always make it happen. You do whatever you can, you don't think of it as a sacrifice. A few hours without sleep's not bad.
Yeah, gender diversity in football is so important because of the opportunities that it presents for not just men but for the women who really want to play this game.
You've got a whole generation that just think it's great, they've got that opportunity and they can pursue it, it's fantastic.
The best part about it is knowing that we're paving the way for the younger generation. To be someone that's helping to sculpt that pathway for those girls makes me really proud.
Story of the Laurie brother-sister combination, the Tigers, Jesse and Paris Laurie. As we turn to the weather for front row screens, and it's been a very, very wet and windy weekend. 15 degrees, the maximum high. 100% chance of rain. Well, we've certainly seen a bit earlier today. Chance of a thunderstorm this morning and early afternoon. Possible hail. I don't think we've seen any of that just yet, girls. Here, it's been a beautiful day at East Fremantle Oval.
I was going to say, the sun's shining, there's a rainbow out there, it's looking lovely.
Nothing wrong with East Fremantle at all.
I'm just on the BOM app, and I don't reckon there's I don't want to jinx it, but I don't reckon there's too much more to come in. If anything, it would be a light shower, but I think we've hopefully seen all the heavy stuff for the weekend.
And dinner or late lunch, is it outdoors, indoors?
indoors, I think.
Not going to risk it with the weather?
Just heading into Fremantle and having an early dinner. Yeah, it'll be good. Good to catch up.
We'll head to a break here. East Fremantle lead it by 7 points at half-time. Back with the second half shortly.
The V6 twin-turbo rear-wheel drive Kia Stinger. It took 7 years to create and 4.9 seconds to understand why.
Dad!
Oh, sorry.
Just wait.
It's funny.
Dad!
Party purpose.
Bring your family together. Introducing Optus Family Plan with 4 SIMs and 250 gigs of data to share.
If you need it live streamed, you need Front Row Screens. Visit frontrowscreens.com.au.
Back here at East Fremantle Oval as the Tigers make their way out onto the ground, trailing by 7 points as we get ready to start the third quarter. Some of the shots coming from Matt, who's working the camera phone down there beautifully and getting the vision for us. A little 7-person players race being formed there by some of the Resi's players from Claremont. Played earlier today. And now the Sharks warming up way to the right of your screen as well. They've kicked the only goal of the game. It's 1-3, playing 2 behinds in very windy conditions. No rain as such today, which has been good. A little rainbow popped out for a moment behind the scoreboard as well. But so far so good in terms of keeping the wet weather away from us here today. Dave Lindsay, Cara Antonio and Hayley Miller, your commentary team, as the Tigers come in for one last word before the second half starts. What are we expecting in the second half from these two sides, Hayley? Could you see either team being able to break this one open, or is it going to go deep right to the end of the game?
Yeah, I hope there's going to be a few more goals.
I think we all do, don't we? 1-0's not good enough.
I don't mind who they come from. Hopefully both teams. I'd like to see a really close game that goes right down to the line, but with hopefully goal for goal would be nice.
And Juddy, can you see the Sharks? They've got a lot of experience out there. Are they better placed perhaps to maybe run away with this game if there's one team that can?
I think with the experience on their list, with the AFLW players listed, look, yes, but in terms of what I've seen so far, despite the scoreboard, I think Claremont, I'm really liking the way that Claremont's going about their footy today and their ball movement. There's been a few almost moments for them. So, look, I don't want to jump on any side again. I don't want to jinx anyone, but I'm really liking the way that Claremont's going about it. They've got a slight breeze towards that far side and towards that left of screen. So I'm really looking forward to, I am looking forward to the game breaking open, but I do hope it is still a close contest, and it's still anyone's game despite the obviously the 7-point lead to East Fremantle at the moment.
Really started to learn the power of your jinx, because there was even a little drizzle of rain during that little commercial break we just had.
Immediately after you said it wasn't going to rain anymore.
It was a light shower.
Wouldn't have said anything, but you mentioned jinx again, and you've jinxed Hayley when she was lining up for goal a couple of weeks ago. You've stitched us up with no more rain. I can see on the radar there's nothing around, and then it just sprinkled for a minute or so.
I might just sit back and let you two do the rest.
No more predictions from the Freo W captain. Don't say anything about your season next year. I mean,
definitely not.
You couldn't read about the way it finished this year. No one would ever have predicted that, so can't imagine anything like that could ever happen again. But a very powerful person. The Sharks lead it by 7 as we start this third quarter. They'll go forward with a hand pass from Wong. O'Sullivan does very well, coming through the traffic and then kicking long and high. Once again, mark in defence though from the Tigers. This time, Garstone kicking to the wing. There's a few Tigers out here, although no mark taken there from Williams, who leapt the highest at the front. Seth rebounding for the Sharks, long towards half forward. Ortlip controlled the footy, unable to take the mark though. Garstone wrestling with Alston. We'll see a ball up. That's Curry rather than Alston. There are only 3 Sharks that ran to the bench after their warm-up at the end of the half-time break. So there's 2 short. I think Ross was concussed, and Tinson certainly appeared to be a broken nose, possibly concussion there as well in the first minute of the game. The ball in front of the East Fremantle members goes out of play for a throw-in. So the Sharks will have to be careful how they manage their rotations from here on in with just the 3 on the bench. Claremont rather appear to have a full complement to choose from. So the ball's tossed back into play, clears both rucks. Williams, little paddle, couldn't take it. Riley, who also suffered a knock to her nose, just couldn't take the footy there either. I think the tape's been removed from underneath her nostrils, which would be a real relief for her. We might need a repeat stoppage again here to split them up. Only goal of the game through the boot of Stephanie Spark. It came very late in the second quarter. As the ball comes out of the congestion and then accidentally socked back in towards the pack. Good clean pick up again there from Seth. Gives the hand pass off and then gets it back. Wheeling around onto the right boot. Needs to hit the target. She can't. That's a courageous mark from Hongle. Fantastic work. She gets up very sore. We'll see the replay here. Never once considered her safety. She might have copped a real corky, perhaps to the right hip, I'd say, because she's very sore and she's going to make her way towards the bench as this ball goes out towards that outer side wing. The Tigers soccer it forward through Franklin. She's got to follow it up again here opposed to Williams. Keeps it in with another soccer kick. Worked it quite well. Coming through Carter. She's brought to ground. And Claremont through a couple of soccer kicks have gained 50 metres and a stoppage. And the applause here is for Brooke Hongle, who's made her way to the bench.
Looks a little bit sore, and I reckon you're right on that hip bone area. A little bit of a stinger, and they're not very comfortable. I've had a few.
She'd get a pat on the back from the coach, though, wouldn't she, that bit of play?
Definitely.
Prepared to put her body on the line. Free kick picked out in the ruck this time. Well, the umpire signalled both ways. Originally East Fremantle, then Claremont, and now gone back to East Fremantle. So Bowie with the free kick. And daylight today, where the half-back lines have been in total control, you can't afford to give away free kicks in the ruck in that position of the ground. Sargent's taken a mark here for Claremont. Swings it out very wide. It'll bounce in front of Valentini. Makes it tough for her. Wong confronts her, tackles her front on. Ball spills out. Umpire says play on. O'Sullivan off to Riley. Uses the outside of the boot. Gains good distance with the kick. Garstone first back to the football though. Spins out of the tackle. Then hand passes it away. Pugh. Hype and under kick to the wing, and Bowie, reading it best at the back of the pack, takes the mark. Again, they want to attack down that dead side of the ground. Almost a mark taken there by Sargent. Just paddled it to the advantage of Garstone. High kick in the middle of the ground. Backing back was Lewis. Getting there first, though, Kakamo. She might end up with the football in the end, the Shark. Just worried out of it by Franklin, and again she goes with the soccer kick. But East Fremantle controlling it okay across half-back. Dangerous kick. Lewis arrives in the nick of time to make the spoil for Claremont. She follows up again and wins the football. Kicks it over the top. It could almost go all the way. It sits up for Carter, and there's a goal for the Tigers. Well done, Bella Lewis, setting that one up for Claremont.
That was amazing by Bella Lewis there. Just that courage to go and actually make that contest. And those are those 50-50 ones. If you don't get there, you know, East Fremantle, we're going to come out this side and probably attack their way quite aggressively, but you know, she made the contact and it resulted in a goal.
She's had a few impact moments throughout the course of the game, and that one in particular, she followed up and then had that deep kick inside which created the goal. So a fantastic individual effort there from Bella Lewis and a fantastic goal for Claremont.
Very promising player, Bella Lewis. Real professional the way she goes about it as well. Super fit. And always prepared to put her body on the line, as she did there on a couple of occasions. Goal won't go against her name, but she'll be the one who gets the reward from the coach, I think, because it's her hard work that set it up. And Claremont going forward again. Dumanis' kick, intercepted by Slisher. Clean with the hands and then prepared to take the game on. Long high kick, seems to hold up in the breeze, gets it to half forward. A couple of players overrun that one. And then eventually Versace prepared to take the ball and is tackled, taken to ground. Brooke Hongle just walking in front of our broadcast position and then heading into the rooms for some treatment. So maybe Claremont might be one down on the bench now as well. Demanis' kick intercepted here. Bowie can set something up for East Fremantle, kicking long, but there's another saving mark in defence from Claremont, and it's Sarah Ryu again.
She reads the ball so well in flight, and that's probably the third or fourth intercept mark she's had all game. Fantastic.
I know we talk a lot about, obviously, Laura Pugh and how well she does that, but Ryu has done that really well today as well.
Riley in the pocket for East Fremantle. Doesn't mind a shot on goal, Riley. Normally uses it pretty well in front of the goals. Comes off hands, out the back. Chance for the Sharks. A snap from Sprillian. And it's raining goals all of a sudden at East Fremantle Oval. A goal either way to start this third quarter. And that's a very important response from the home side. Goal kick there by Cara Sprillian. Nice little snap across the left shoulder.
It's good to see Sprillian back in the side. She's had a couple of weeks down in reserves, I believe. So good to see her in the side and putting some score on the board. Getting, I guess, East Fremantle needed that one with, you know, as a young side for Claremont. They'll get their backs up when their tails up, I should say, when they get a goal, and it was good to sort of hold that down. And here comes the rain, Juddy.
I don't know, but I can't see any rain.
It's remarkable, isn't it? The power of the Fremantle AFLW captain. We'll get your predictions for the rest of the season, and we'll put a line through all of them. I don't want to ask who you think might win the flag. It's just unbelievable. East Fremantle with the goal to their name there. Through comes Pugh. Clean despite the rain. Left-footed kick is good too. Finds Lewis. She'll want to move this on quickly. There's 3 or 4 one-on-ones ahead of the ball here. Punches it in low. Attacking it in the air was Williams, but she's misjudged it. It got over the back, and the mark has been taken for Claremont. Unfortunate for Williams, the ball just carrying a little bit further than she expected, and her opposite number in Williams for Claremont taking the mark. Kicks to the pocket on the lead. Petrevski can't take it. And now East Fremantle could clear, although it comes back to Williams again. Not too sure where to go. Goes backwards by hand. Low. Scraps a kick forward. Franklin's being held on to by Slisher, and the umpire pays the free kick to Amy Franklin. So after the first half, where both teams really struggled to generate scoring opportunities, there's a little tug on the jumper.
Much in that, Miller?
Oh, that's a tough call. It's hard being Ruby in that situation. She's just desperately trying to, I guess, nullify any chance of some clean possession, but unfortunately the umpire saw a bit of a tug there.
So Amy Franklin, recruited from West Perth this season for Claremont, head over the footy. Good purchase on the ball, but she's drifted across the face and it's a behind. So the margin is an even goal now. Claremont will be desperate to lock this ball inside their attacking 50. The Sharks want to bring it back in to the attacking side of the ground. Seth in the pocket. Short to Gomes. Won't quite get to her. Skids past the 2 Sharks that attack the football. And that'll be holding the ball. Not able to get rid of the footy. Samantha Bartlett is penalised. So Gomes with the free kick for East Fremantle. The rain has passed again.
Oh, light shower.
Chips to the pack. Running at the back, let the ball bounced off her chest. Diving in on the footy, Wong. It spills out the side. Versace throws it out. Umpire wouldn't have seen that. We had a good view of it. O'Sullivan, quick kick. Lewis went to ground behind the play. O'Sullivan's kick close to the line. Walsh gets rid of her opponent. Can't win the football though. Garstone now for Claremont. She's tackled. Doranova's hurried kick goes straight to Bird. Bird into the corridor with her kick. It clears the head of Lowe. It works out beautifully. Slicer running onto the loose footy. Runs at full measure. Kicks for distance. The breeze really catches that. Drags it right across the face of goal. It'll stay inside the field of play, will it? Yes, Sprillian leading the race. Will get there first. Needs to hook it back to the top of the goal square. Doesn't get much bend on it. And Indiana Garstone has fisted it across the line.
Schlasher was in 2 minds there of whether or not to bounce or whether or not it was going to bounce back up, I think, because she had a whole paddock in front of her. Could have, on a dry day, probably would have bounced her way into goal then.
Yeah, she almost ran too far.
Yeah.
Couldn't quite decide whether she did want to take that long option or probably could have touched it on the ground. She had a lot of time.
Certainly got some speed. They've got a bit of dash through her and also Seth today. Claremont clearing the area. Here is Seth opposed to Lowe. Just work low off the football. Hand passes to Slasher. Now Versace. Worried out of it. Lewis takes it away for Claremont. Clearing kick just gains distance. It'll go out without anyone touching it. And the free kick will go to Alex Williams for East Fremantle. It's a real contest, this one. Both teams desperate need for a victory. O'Sullivan overruns that ball. And her fumble means it's a boundary throw-in.
Just seen Brooke Congle's come back out from in the race now. She's actually got her right knee strapped, so may have come down heavy on that with that mark she took a little while ago.
Thrown from the umpire, bends sharp to the left, so I think the breeze caught hold of that as well. Lewis in a little one-on-one. Initially looked like she'd run away with it, but Lily Bird was prepared to fight hard against her. Umpire will ball this one up. So a goal to Carter for Claremont to start this second half, and then Spruilin replied quickly for East Fremantle. As a result, we're back at a 6-point gap between the two sides. Another ball up required. Subiaco winners over Peel last night by 9 points. South Fremantle playing Swans this afternoon as well. It's the other game for WAFLW, round 5. Only 2 games to go for each team after this weekend. Everyone would have played each other once after these games, and then each team gets to play 2 more matches as they fight for the top 4. Soccer kick from Ortlup accidentally goes out of play. It'll be a free kick. It's just outside 50, so the ball goes to O'Sullivan, who wheels around quickly, kicks to the pocket. Walsh is the target, sandwiched between a couple of Tigers. Ortlup almost took the mark, diving in on top. I think it's Garstone. How will the umpires see this? A quick whistle and a ball up. Rosie Walsh to do the ruck work against Zadnik, who arrives late. Walsh swipes at the football. Pugh there for Claremont. Her hand pass couldn't find a target. Ortlup coming through. Gets her kick away in the nick of time, but again, just going wide with the ball, and Claremont can't clear this area.
Yeah, East Fremantle set up really well. So yes, it's gone out of bounds a couple of times there, but even if it has, even if it did stay in, East Fremantle set up really well behind the ball.
Not a great kick though on the way back in, and the Tigers might be able to escape. Zadnik though can't handle the football. Now the ball stuck under the pack. We'll see another ball up. The wind whistling through our effects mic. East Fremantle Oval. Pretty typical conditions for this time of the year, I guess. Down here at Shark Park, Lily Bird couldn't handle that football as it slipped through her fingers. I think a bit of fatigue setting in here as well. Not as much dash coming out of these packs. East Fremantle still leading by 6. Goranova for Claremont. From a standing start, kicks long and high and wide. It'll skid towards the line. Alex Williams will be happy to see this one over. It'll be a free kick to East Fremantle as a result.
A few lassos in a row here.
Yep.
I wonder who came up with that. Who decided that it should be a lasso?
I suppose when you've got every other signal already put in there, you've got to come up with something new. And
yep.
I wonder whether someone thought, could we get them to do it, you reckon? Do you reckon they'd actually do a lasso move over their head? We have been joking most of last year, but it's been better this year. The boundary umpires coming in the 10 metres now without any argument, whereas last year they seemed to take it as a bit of a personal insult that they're being asked to come in, like perhaps they might have been when they first started as a junior. But it is good for the game when the ball comes back towards the corridor. Having said that, the strength of this breeze today means the ball's spinning most of the time very close to that boundary on the outer side. Another ball up required.
Yeah, we had a bit of that last night down in Mandurah. The wind was so strong it was basically going back out of bounds on the full.
Yeah, I think here in Rushton Park, 2 grounds that when the wind comes in, it's pretty tough to get the ball inside the field of play. Claremont have managed to get to half forward. Slasher wants to dash off that half back line again. She was held up this time. Somehow hacks it towards Bird, who was worried off her kick. She'll go a second time. Soccer from Franklin. We've just had about 4 possessions this quarter. They've 5 possessions. It was a shot for goal, but apart from that, all soccer kicks. Down the line go the Sharks, and Pugh again happy to hold things up for Claremont. 5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Laura Pugh for the Tigers, Again, kicking close to the line. Brooke White. Did she get a finger to that? She's claiming she did. The boundary umpire does call for the throw-in this time. So let's turn our attention to AFLW for a minute, ladies. The Fremantle side announced their re-signings for the rest. They announced the big stars last week, Hayley Miller and a couple of others, but confirmed the rest. The young guns, is that what it is?
The young guns. I'm only 5 years older than the other two, but I'm still managing to stay in that young gun section.
Jodie, from a captain's position, you must be pleased with the way you've been able to hold the majority of your squad together yet again.
Oh, really stoked. And it just, I think, the calibre of people over players is what we're really stoked with. The characters, of our young kids in Mim Strom and Roxy Ruby, Bianca Webb, the likes. It's just great to keep, I suppose, the future of the footy club there. Miller might think that she's young, but I'm definitely in the old girls group. And here we go.
Franklin's just had a snap for goal, bent it away to the right and missed, so they're within a goal, Claremont.
And I suppose I'm not going to be there forever, so it's nice to see that we've been able to keep a core group of us together, and we'll go to the draft with 3 draft picks, which is really exciting to hopefully add to that young crop that we've already got.
Are there any clues at this stage as to where you go with the draft? I know there's obviously some talent out here today, and we're watching a number of players over the last few weeks in the WAFLW who would like to think that perhaps a spot on the Dockers or Eagles list could be coming their way, or is there a view to look elsewhere?
I think Miller probably knows a little bit more than me, because I'm a bit out of it at the moment, only watching a couple of games. But the likes of Sarah Verrier, I know, down from Peel, is a name that gets brought up a lot. And also Sinead Davidson from Swan Districts, who I was lucky enough to coach last year. I know he's in some pretty good form. So those two are, from what I gather, at the top of the list. We obviously don't get the top pick, we get number 2. So it's going to be exciting. It was exciting last year, not knowing who our teammates were going to be, obviously with the inception of West Coast coming in, and it'll be very similar towards October when the draft happens.
Chance here for Pewter, sets something up for Claremont. She takes the game on, she's caught, and that's holding the ball. Inglis Hodge with the free kick for East Fremantle. They're leading by just 5 points. Great charge down, smother from Bella Lewis again. And that is a name that I think everyone here in WA hopes will get read out on the day of the draft.
Yeah, the draft can be interesting because whether you go at number 1 or 2 or 3 or down the order, it's what the clubs are actually looking for. And look, you can end yourself on sort of Freo's list even if you're not number 1. As depending on what we're sort of looking for, and look, we're hoping to get some good calibre of girls on our list.
Claremont have owned the last couple of minutes. They've had it inside 50. Franklin attacks it in the air. She almost took the mark. She'll get a free kick anyway. A bit of holding again, this time from Slicer. And Franklin, who had a shot from this identical position earlier in the term, can give Claremont the lead here with a minute or so to go before 3/4 time.
She's got a lovely kick on her, so I'd love her to just go back, take her time, and hopefully put this one through.
We'll need to set it well wide of the left-hand goalpost and let the breeze do the work. Head over the footy again. She's nailed this. Superb kick from Franklin. You didn't jinx her that time, Jodie. And the Tigers are in front.
Yeah, she learned from her first kick and absolutely nailed that one. The umpire didn't have to move.
She knew it off the boot as well. And usually that means you've got your craft down pat, you've got your running really on point, and she knew as soon as that came off, the hand went up, and a really good goal.
Well, this is exactly what we wanted from the contest, isn't it? A few more goals in this term, but the battle's still on, and just 1 point between the two teams. And perhaps there is just the slightest advantage going to that left of screen. The breeze mostly across the ground, but the kicks are travelling a little bit further to the left, so the Sharks will finish with that. But we've got 45 seconds to go, so a critical little moment in this match. Can either team score a late goal before the 3/4 time siren? In the ruck, it's one down by Williams of Claremont. She'll get the ball back, can't get a kick away though. Gets a hand in the play again. Gomes is there, tackled by Williams. And another ball up required. 20 seconds to go before the siren. Claremont leading for the first time today. Williams takes it out of the ruck, gets the kick towards half forward. It'll land in open space. White attacking it hard. From behind Carter, a little flick almost. That was blocked though. The Sharks should be able to hold things up. Seth gives it off. Hurried kick forward by Alston. Not marked by the Sharks. The siren sounds to end a fascinating third quarter. And Claremont now lead for the first time this afternoon. 2-4-16 to 2-3-15 goals to Carter and to Franklin in that quarter for Claremont. While Spruillian kicked a goal for East Fremantle to add to Sparks' goal that was kicked in the second quarter. And now with a quarter to play, there's just 1 point in it. Brooke White is pretty happy with the way her Tigers are set up. There's so much to play for these two teams. They're 4th and 5th on the table at the moment. Whoever wins will sit inside the top 4 at the end of today. Whoever loses has got the battle ahead of them to qualify for the finals this year. 1 big quarter to go. We'll be back shortly here. The Tigers by a point.
The V6 twin turbo rear wheel drive Kia Stinger. It took 7 years to create and 4.9 seconds to understand why.
Oh, sorry. It's funny.
Dad.
Party purpose.
Bring your family together. Introducing Optus Family Plan with 4 SIMs and 250 gigs of data to share.
If you need it live streamed, you need Front Row Screens. Visit frontrowscreens.com.au.
Huge final quarter coming up. The Sharks here on screen trailing by a point after they've led for the majority of this afternoon. It's 2-4 to 2-3. Claremont by a point as the East Fremantle defenders are getting their instructions before they head back out there for the final quarter. Dave Lindsay alongside Cara Antonio and also Hayley Miller. There's the Tigers who controlled that third quarter, and a goal to Amy Franklin right before three-quarter time has given the lead. Just 1 point in it as we look at some of the highlights in that third quarter. The Sharks are a couple down on the bench, and Brooke Hongle copped a bit of a knock at the start of that quarter, but she has returned with a bit of strapping on her knee back to the bench for Claremont, so we might see her in the last quarter. But Hayley Miller, you're aware of someone who's not going to take their place. We were wondering what happened to Katrina Tinson. Well, we realised what happened. Her nose was busted open. She came off in about the first minute or two of the game. We're wondering where she might be now, and I think you've found out.
Yeah, I'm going to say she's probably at the hospital or some medical centre of some sort, because she's actually watching on the live stream, I've been told. So, hey Hurricane, thanks for watching. Hope you're okay. Hope you get that nose sorted as quick as possible.
It does come up there on Facebook, doesn't it? If someone tunes in, the name pops up, and her name's popped up. So unless someone else has got her phone, Juddy, then which is a possibility if she's having a nose set somewhere, someone else might be watching on her phone. But she'll be cheering her Sharks on as best she can in the last quarter. But Juddy, you enjoyed the Amy Franklin kick for goal, and she certainly knew the moment the ball hit the boot that was going through.
I did. I've loved her presence up forward, and she's peppered the goals. She obviously missed the first one. It went to the left, but her ability to obviously readjust when she kicked that last one was quite good, and hitting the scoreboard now. Claremont a point in front. Wind slightly going to the left of screen, so it'll be interesting to see how Claremont's backline here hold up. They can't save the game. They still need to be able to win it. Only a point up. So on the flip side, East Freo, I reckon Phil Seth or a Gabby O'Sullivan, chuck him into the midfield and be able to get that ball inside forward 50 as quick as possible to be able to give the opportunity for East to hit the front.
So the other player for East Fremantle who's not available in the second half is Maddie Ross. She's got the tracksuit on, the beanie on at the moment as well. She appears to be concussed after a very strong tackle. She actually applied on Bella Lewis, but in the process actually hurt herself with her head hitting the turf pretty hard.
You don't often hear that, being the tackler and hurting yourself. It's usually the other way around, isn't it?
She protected the player too much.
Yeah.
Forgot about herself.
Don't mind the jacket, though.
Just seeing
She's
for
repping.
Claremont as well. It looks like Jacinta Valentini walking in front of us with the T-shirt on as well. So some injuries for both sides as we start the last quarter. Neither team with their full complement on the bench. The Tigers with the momentum, but the East Fremantle side with perhaps just a slight advantage of this very strong cross breeze. Most goals today, well, there's only been 4 in the game, but 3 of them have been kicked to the left of your screen, and that's the way East Fremantle are going in this final quarter. But Claremont will start things off with a free kick in the middle. And it's Tildy Sargent to take it for the Tigers. She scanned the field, can't find anything she likes just yet, so she sets it up, and Slicer gets in front of Franklin. That's been a fascinating battle. Slicer's had the better of it, but Franklin has been promising and has one of the rare goals in this match. She kicks to the wing. Sargent first to get there again for Claremont. Tackled and brought to ground, and we'll see a ball up right in front of our broadcast position. Ball to be tossed in the air. Sunshine around East Fremantle Oval. Bella Lewis opposed to Wong. And the umpire will need to separate this pair yet again.
It's an interesting battle in the midfield here. Experience v youth, with Claremont going youth, East Freo going experience. So we'll see who wins out towards the end of this game.
Seth to Slicer, who kicks long, gets good distance on the kick. That's really carried with the breeze. Bounces high in the air. Garstone hacks it out of the air, and her soccer kick works out reasonably well. Gets it to Bartlett at centre half back. The cavalry arrive. Riley fighting hard for East Fremantle. Quick kick out of the area by Lowe into the middle of the ground. Little one-on-one's been won here by Norrish. Her kick, though, sitting up in the breeze. Should have been marked by Bartlett. Now she's got some problems. Hassled by Gomes, and Gomes will fight a good draw here if she can win this one. She does. And the Sharks will be happy to hold it up. Just
A few little skill errors there for Claremont. They probably could have really attacked forward then, but unfortunately a little drop mark that she probably should have taken there. Sees East Fremantle heading back towards their forward line.
O'Sullivan with the football. Attempted torpedo, I think, from O'Sullivan. Didn't strike it. It does clear the pack, though. Skids onto the back. Sprillian goes with the running banana. She's missed to the right. She's levelled the scores. Would have been an interesting foot race if she had taken Hongle on to the goal square. She pulled the trigger early. And it's 16 all.
I don't mind that kick from Gabby because it's hard for a defender to mark that. So, as we've seen, it allowed Cara Sprillian to get on the end of it and unfortunately get a point, but it's a handy point if they can lock this in and create a 7-point play.
So Hongle, good to see her back out there. Takes the kick back into play. O'Sullivan hassling her opponent, but Pugh wins out again. Kicks down the line. Ball stays in the field of play. Players arrive from both directions. Wong applies a good tackle. And we'll see a ball up. Right half forward now for East Fremantle. Scores level. Both teams in desperate need of a win. Such a tight, compressed season. Norrish's kick will bounce just inside the 50-metre arc, which means this one will be a boundary throw-in being claimed down there by Sarah Ryu that should be a lasso and a free kick to her, but no. Once it's inside the arc, it's a boundary throw-in. Tossed back into play. Bowie in front. Wins it down, follows up, but she's tackled immediately. And another stoppage. There are 3 goals kicked in the third quarter, only 1 kicked in the entire first half. Seth with the kick. Doesn't gain much ground. O'Sullivan's driven into the turf. I think she was looking for a free kick there. Wasn't happy when the umpire crossed his arms and said, we'll ball it up instead. Seth with a quick kick out of the congestion again, gains 20 metres. And it's out of bounds for a throw-in right near the right-hand behind post. It's a tough position on the ground if you're a defensive side to get the ball out of with this breeze. Pretty much forced to go down the line, which is where your opponents are all set up as well. So Claremont will need to be at their very best to clear this area. Throw-in falls short this time. Williams wins it down. O'Sullivan roving it nicely. Kick was partly smothered. Riley in the pocket. Keeps it alive with a kick that goes across the face. Sprillian's quick. needs to pick it up. 2 attempts, can't take it. Hongel arrives to put pressure on her. Great little one-on-one battle there. Hand pass goes astray. It's out of bounds for a throw-in. Good contest from that pair of players, and now boundary throw-in on the attacking side now for East Fremantle. Andrew Empire marches well inside the field of play. We'll toss this one back in. Walsh doing the ruck work this time opposed to Williams. Williams knocks it away for Claremont. Little soccer kick from Versace. Couldn't gain much ground with that either. Now she's on top of the footy, tries to slap it out. But Trevsky just wrestled the ball free. Williams somehow got it out the back door. Garstone with the clearing kick. Gets it wide. Running back with the flight to Manus. Didn't go for the mark in the end. Seth takes the footy. Good use of the left boot to get it inside the 50-metre arc. Ryu had it spoiled away from her. We'll see another ball up about 45 out. What the Claremont have to do here? Just absorb the pressure and wait for that breaking opportunity?
Yeah, I think so. They need to break the lines. This contested... Oh, free kick extend, no? This contested ball and I suppose spending a lot of time in East Freo's forward half of the ground isn't helping them, so they do need to be able to run and carry, break the lines and get it past over halfway to give them any opportunity.
Just saw the holding free kick there going the direction of Wong. Her kick into the pocket. Pugh brought it to ground. O'Sullivan wins the football, hooks it to the top of the goal square. Can anyone react first? Garstone overruns it. Alston has it and is tackled. Is it Curry, in fact? She's tackled and brought to ground. We'll see a ball up again. Right in front of the East Fremantle goal.
It's early days in this last term, but you can really feel the pressure, and girls are starting to just get those hat kicks. They really need to settle Claremont to try and actually work their way out of this situation instead of just hacking it, because East Fremantle have set up again really well behind the ball, and it's just going to fall in East Fremantle's hands if they hack it out.
O'Sullivan. Tell you what, she's just missed. Must have just clipped the goal post. It has. The goal umpire pulled the trigger on the one behind. I was about to say, some girls seem to think they need to take turns. O'Sullivan doesn't believe in that. She wants to be involved in every contest. She's put aside in front with that behind. The kick back in is wide and puts Ryu under some pressure when she can't take the mark. We might see another stoppage. Riley climbing in over the top holds things up. And the ball up deep in that right forward pocket yet again.
Well, she's the one for Gabby O'Sullivan's the one for me that's probably going to break this game open. Spending a lot of time in East Freo's 50. At these stoppages, that's her bread and butter. Hitting the contest hard and being able to get on the end of one. So let's see what she can muster up here in this last quarter.
A great tackle applied there by Gomes. Earns her side a free kick. This ball is living inside the 50-metre arc for East Fremantle. Gomes wants to take on the player on the mark. Ambitious move. Squeezes a little left foot kick to O'Sullivan. It's worked out perfectly.
I'm not going to say anything else.
Well, sometimes when you take a risk like Gomes did, we'll see there on the replay, good things happen. And Gabby O'Sullivan to kick for goal. We've seen Franklin convert from a pretty similar position in the third quarter. Now Gabby O'Sullivan to line it up to give East Fremantle what would be a pretty handy 7-point break in a very low-scoring game.
I'll say it. Gabby's she's a pretty good set shot. Hopefully she can put this one through.
Oh, you didn't commit though, Hayley. Didn't commit. The kick looks pretty good. She set it out to the left. It's swinging back. It's just missed. One behind.
I didn't put my house on it. I said she'd kick, but I wasn't that silly. 2
points the difference. The Tigers want to bring this ball back into play quickly. Long clearing kick, but to no one in particular. White's going to have to work hard here, and she does. That's a good tackle on Seth. And that'll be enough for Claremont to at least get a stoppage, and they have cleared the defensive 50.
They just need to keep working the ball up, Claremont, stoppage after stoppage, to be able to give themselves opportunity.
Alston against Zadnik in the ruck. Sprulian's been busy up forward, and she wins that hard ball. Hand pass to Alston, running away from goal. Slung in the tackle, and the kick goes straight to Lowe. This is their chance to break out now, Claremont. Lowe kicks to Demanis. She's got Lewis down the line, but she's forced to go back. Little chip pass is good. Smith. Now they'll go to Lewis. Oh, but the kick is awful. And she's not happy. She punches the ground in disgust.
It's that perceived pressure that's been built up for the first kind of 8 minutes of this last quarter. Unfortunately, they had an opportunity to break open, but a skill error has cost them.
Curry, good mark. There's a bit of space inside 50. She gets it on quickly. Goes to the top of the goal square. Walsh is the target. Clears the pack. Who's at the back? Sprillian. Open goal. Can she get there? She does. Big goal for the Sharks, and they lead it by 8 points. The pressure telling in the end on the Claremont defence, and Brilliant getting some reward for effort, her second goal.
Another good entry though, that one, and the one at the back, the sneaky little forward. Even had enough time to pick the ball up. I probably would have just booted that out of the air.
So critical goal from Brilliant midway through the final quarter. And the lead is 8 points, which is actually as big as the lead has been throughout the entire match. So for all of Claremont's efforts in that third quarter, they got their noses in front, but now facing the biggest deficit of the game. They're not kicking into the true breeze, but they're certainly finding it hard to score to the right of screen. They've got to get the ball on this attacking side and see what they can do. Lewis wins it out of the middle. Hand pass towards Goranova. Pushed off the footy too easily there. Seth takes it away. Kicks across the body. It skips away. Runs towards the line. Can they get a touch on it before it goes over? It might have been an accidental soccer as well, I think. Although, no, the umpire said throw it in.
I think the fitness of Phil Seth is certainly showing now. Everyone else has sort of slowed down and she's just getting started. You see her speed, she's got one speed and it's very fast. So she's using that to her advantage in the midfield at the moment.
Boundary throw in. Alston doing the ruck work for East Fremantle. Diving in on top of it is Sargent. She needs to get this out now. She'll be penalised holding the ball. The opposing 23 will take the free kick. Versace for East Fremantle in the long sleeves. Kick to the pocket. Brilliant is the player on the lead. Bennett gets across there first. Roving though is Wong. Little left foot kick to the lead of Spark. A couple of attempts. Couldn't finish it off. Demartis mops it up. Hand pass to Pugh. Kicks into open space. Slisher and Lewis. Great contest coming up here. Slisher too strong. Lewis will come again. Great tackle by Lewis. Hand pass just away in the nick of time. Demartis with a hand pass on to White. She's caught. Back to Demartis. Squeezes the little left foot kick. Zadnik got a shocker of a bounce. Makes the tackle though well. Great chase down there by White. Blocked the hand pass, got it to Franklin. High kick gets over the defence. Robertson opposed to Inglis Hodge. Need to win this one-on-one here, the Tigers. Little soccer kick. Not much support though for Claremont. Williams is there again, although Robertson beats it to the footy. The same pair will go at it once more. Robertson just worked off it by Williams, who did well. Got down low, picked up the footy, and then kicks across the face of goal. And they can slow things down now through Prentice. Short pass finds Seth. And East Fremantle might have just settled that danger. Short pass again. Just low nicks in the nick of time. Intercept. Can't take the mark, but wins the football. Long kick to full forward. Mark taken. Brooke White's got it. Well, they probably deserve to get a shot on goal, Claremont, for all that work they did. The Bella Lewis work initially at half-back, and then Robertson keeping it alive. And now the experience of Brooke White, who is in a reasonable position to kick this goal. The breeze to drag it from right to left.
Great work by Jess Lowe there. Just to, again, like Bella Lewis did earlier in the game, is just attack that footy and make the turnover, and she's given Brooke White an opportunity here.
Now the breeze will really affect this kick, and you see it drag it right across the face. She won't score, but it does bounce inside the field of play. So a boundary throw in left forward pocket. Seven minutes to go in this final quarter. Sharks by 8 points. East Fremantle trying to snap a 3-game losing streak. Boundary umpire taking a long time over this throw-in. Clock continues to run. Throw-in beats all ruckman as well. Versace for East Fremantle clears the area towards O'Sullivan. Pugh makes the spoil and then wins the football. Gets it back inside 50. Smith backing back. 2 grabs. That's a fantastic mark.
Great mark there.
Good win from Pugh initially. And then the juggled attempt from Smith. She won't shoot for goal. She tries to spot up Franklin. It gets over the back. Petrevsky, little sidestep. Bounces a goalward diving. Versace saves the day for East Fremantle. It's really gone up a notch in the last few minutes. And the lead is just 7 points. Bit of experience from Norris, walking as slowly as she can to go and collect that football. No time on here, so the clock ticks away. And the clock is in East Fremantle's favour here. Norris runs out of the square, kicks as far as she can. Free kick picked out. Bowie gave a push on Jess Lowe. Lowe has Williams inside. That's the direction the kick goes. She takes the mark. They want to bring it towards this attacking side of the ground if they can. Oh, the player on the mark has run over. We saw this last week, I think, Hayley.
Yeah, that's that tough one where they do blow the whistle to say move it on rather than play on, and can be a little bit confusing for the man on the mark.
So I think it's Curry who's just charged at the player when she heard the whistle, but the whistle is just the hurry-up call. It's not play on. So now Williams, a shot from virtually directly in front to bring Claremont back within a point with 5 minutes of play remaining. Awkward grip on the ball, steps in and converts.
That was a pressure kick
It
there.
was. I wasn't convinced by the approach at all, but she's kicked the goal and Claremont are back within a point. Just when it looked as though East Fremantle had settled and perhaps done enough to win this game, it's 1 point the difference.
I'm liking the determination and the grit from this young Claremont side, and I suppose that it started with the spoil from Hugh and the double effort to go back inside forward 50. It came back out in, and unfortunately, a little bit of a brain fade there. I think it was from Bowie on the mark to creep on in. And a 50-metre penalty in any football, but female football in particular, is really tough. And Claremont were able to go back and kick the goal.
So we've got just over 4 minutes remaining and just 1 point in it. In the ruck, Bowie tries to spike it forward. Versace over the football, paddles it out. Jess Lowe's been important late in this game for Claremont. Gains about 20 metres. Smith too, gets a kick forward. Brooke White tries to soccer off the ground. Didn't get much of a boot on it, and it's cleared by Seth. A towering kick back in the middle. Jess Lowe back with the flight. Couldn't quite take it. Great work from the Tigers. It's Ryu again. Long kick on the lead. Petrevsky can't quite take it. She'll go a second time. Dragged to ground. We'll see a ball up at half forward. Good tackle by Williams.
Brooke White will be absolutely kicking herself then.
Well, she probably missed. She probably missed the way she went at that one.
I couldn't help but put my hands on my head then, and I'm sure she's feeling the same way.
The Tigers are working it forward. Mika Carter has it 50 out. Too far out to score, but you'd want it in deep and at least get a point here and see if you can level it up to the top of the goal square they go. They hold it up. Well done, Slosher. Kept the ball in front of her and then charges away. Long high kick, straight to Pugh, couldn't mark, caught by O'Sullivan. She's handballing it to herself. Umpire says we'll ball it up. Centre half forward for the Tigers. 3 minutes to go. 1 point the difference. The Tigers 2 losses this year, 2 points and 8 points. So they've been in the close ones and they haven't managed to win them. Free kick picked out, going East Fremantle's way. Lily Bird to take the kick. Could this be where the experienced players of East Fremantle really show out? The kick going wide. Curry leading against Ryu. She goes to ground, knocks it towards Seth, but it's socked away by Ryu. She soccers again, keeps it inside the field of play. Diving in on top, Inglis Hodge is caught. Umpire will ball it up.
That's a win for Claremont there because they were almost outnumbered, and with the experience of Seth, they're able to outbody and create that stoppage now.
Just over 2 minutes to go. Clock continues to run. Remember, every stoppage, the ball will stop, but the clock will not. So time continues to tick as the umpire comes in. Doesn't really bother calling for nominations. He knows which 2 rucks will go at it. In goes Low again. She's held up by O'Sullivan. Another ball up.
That's what East Fremantle will be hoping to do, is just keep getting those stoppages, repeat stoppages.
Ball tapped into some space here. This is Claremont's chance when it gets out into the open. Won by Smith. She hand passes back into the congestion. Low is caught. Ball comes out. Quick kick forward for the Tigers. It's gone wide. It bounces away. Was it touched? Yes, they've kept it in. East Fremantle now through Gomes. Clears down the line. Pugh leading in the race. If this ball goes out, it's her free kick. And so the Tigers now have a minute and a half to get it forward. A goal wins the game for Claremont. A point earns a draw. Long and high. The kick, Bowie hangs onto the mark. Critical grab. And needs to take her full amount of time and then kick for distance. 70 seconds to go. Kick to the wing. The Breeze grabs this. It's close to the line. Was it touched? It was. That's an important touch. Boundary throw in rather than a free kick. We're inside the last minute. The Tigers need a clean passage of play to get this ball forward. A clearance here for East Fremantle would just about be enough to win the game. Throw in. Williams wins it for Claremont. Back towards the boundary. They keep it in. Petrevski with the quick kick. Mark by Gomes is critical. The mark by Gomes could almost be enough for them to win this game. 30 seconds left. She's going to take all of her time that she's allowed. Gets the hurry up. Now she takes on the player on the mark. Gains a good 40 metres. Kick towards the half-forward line. Ryu has it. Here's the chance for Claremont perhaps. The kick towards centre half back. Great pick up by Bennett. Bennett towards the middle. Up in front. Great spoil by Williams. She's done well there. Little soccer kick. Gains a bit of ground as well. Follows up with a tackle. Garstone a hand pass. Can't hit a target. Now she's caught over the football. O'Sullivan with the tackle. And the siren sounds. The Sharks have held on. They've had injuries throughout the game, but they've managed to hang on and win a thriller by 1 point. 3-6 to 3-5. And East Fremantle keep their season alive. They go to 2 wins and 3 losses. The same record as Claremont now. And that 1 point victory, who knows what that could spark here for East Fremantle. Cara Antonio and Hadley Miller with us. What a game of footy in the end.
Oh, yeah, I really enjoyed that. I mean, despite the low scoring, the pressure was up, the contest was great, and the skills when there was time and space were fantastic. And yeah, that the 1 point hurts a little bit for Claremont, no doubt, but to East Frea's credit, I think that last quarter you saw the experience stand up with the likes of Seth, Slasher in the back line, and then obviously Williams with a number of big contests late in that last quarter to stand up and spoil, bring the ball to ground and get East Freo moving forward.
Hayley, your thoughts?
Yeah, it's what we wanted. A very close game right down to the wire, and it was sort of, sit on the edge of your seat kind of football. That's how you like footy to be played, especially when you're not the one out there. I'm sure a lot of tired and sore bodies out there, but such a great game of football. So real credit to both teams. But for East Fremantle, like you said, Juddy, to come out on top, just that experience. In those last couple of minutes to lock it in and have a lot of those repeat stoppages, and then your defence to stand up when they really needed to.
Some highlights here from the match that we've just enjoyed. The Sharks by a point. Took until the 16-minute mark of the second quarter until we saw a goal, and yet we've had probably the most exciting game of the WAFLW season. It was always going to be tough to score in the conditions out there today, but both teams played some very attractive footy for the most part, and the goals at Workick were outstanding as well. And as we've seen throughout the season so far, some of the experienced players, the AFLW players, critical for each side, and the youth really standing up as well. I think Bella Lewis, who gets caught here, and that's the action that actually saw Maddie Ross go out of the game, but the likes of Bella Lewis and Des Lowe, players like that really stood up under pressure as well.
Oh, definitely. And I think the youth, like Claremont, have got so many. Yes, okay, they didn't get the 4 points and get the win, but I think they'll be really pleased and happy with, I suppose, how their young kids have evolved over the season and are contributing significantly to the Claremont outfit.
And this was a very impressive player. I haven't seen Sarah Ryu play before, Hayley, but we liked the way that she was happy to really attack the footy with those one-on-one contests, and she was rarely beaten down there.
Yeah, she did take some really good contested and uncontested marks in their back line, and you need players like that when the ball's coming down there quite often. And that quick transition by East Fremantle, a few of the times that could have easily gone over the back and been a flurry of goals, but Ryu was there each time, sort of chopping that ball off, and did really, really well. Really impressed.
We'll get down to the East Fremantle team song in just a moment. They're forming a huddle. And there's our live picks there. They'll be pretty relieved. It's been a tough few weeks for East Fremantle. They smashed South in the first fixture of the season as expected, but this is their first win since then, ending a 3-game losing streak. Let's go down for the song. Alex Williams, not a day to get drenched, I wouldn't have thought, with the Gatorade and the water. It's pretty cold conditions out there, but she won't mind too much after a great win for her side.
You can tell how important it is that win was for East Fremantle. They knew that their season was on the line and that they needed to get that win to hopefully put themselves in a position to play finals. So it's obviously great to see from our point of view. Or for me personally, you're playing, Miller, so you probably we're on one side or the other. But for me, not playing and having an alliance to any of the clubs currently, it's nice to just see all my teammates get through unscathed and contribute significantly. But also seeing, as we mentioned before, the youth coming through and the potential draftees for the future is really exciting for AFLW and for women's footy in WA as well.
We assume, of course, that Swans would have beaten South Fremantle today. We haven't got a result on that.
Yeah, I was trying to look, but I couldn't find anything on social media.
I know they started about an hour before this game, but assuming they did win Swans, it means that Subiaco lead on 20 on the ladder. Peel and Swans are on 12. Claremont and East Fremantle are 8 and South Fremantle 0, with 2 games remaining for each team. East Fremantle have a tough draw. They've got Subiaco and Swans still to come. Claremont have South Fremantle next week and then finish with Peel. So these 2 teams are 4th and 5th at the moment. Swans and Peel only a game ahead of them. So it's still really tight between teams 2nd through to 5th. Haley's team's sort of streeting the pack at the moment, sitting pretty. But I know you said that your game last night was pretty tough, Haley, and watching the 2 teams out here today, I don't think you're prepared to rule a line through either of those teams just yet either.
No, absolutely not. It's shaping up to be a really good, close sort of season, and that's what you want in this competition. You want the games to be close, and that's just what we saw here today. And last night was pretty similar. It went down to the wire. So that's for the competition such a great thing, and probably in the past it has been a little bit one-sided and a couple of teams at the top and everyone else sort of trying to struggle and hold on to those top teams, but it's really evening out now with girls going into AFLW programs and lifting themselves, but then they also lift the others with them when they come back down to this level. So it's really positive to see.
Sharks have won by a point here. Thanks to Hayley Miller, thanks to Cara Antonio. Great to have both of you with us again here. We'll be back with more WAFLW action again next week. The Sharks the winners today.
This WAFLW live stream is brought to you by Optus, proud naming rights partner of the Waffle and the WAFLW. The rear-wheel drive V6 twin-turbo Kia Stinger. Simply Energy, proudly supporting WA footy. And the West Coast Eagles, supporting WA female footballers to follow their dreams.